Okay, welcome back, Guardians. So yeah, this is me talking about my strategies for gear. First, I'm going to focus on the armor because that's the most easy one. If you've got two pieces, okay, here's the well, let's back it all up. The goal right now for everybody is to get to the power cap because we are going to start getting world's first raid runs, and then you're going to start acquiring pinnacle gear, and then you want to get to like the seasonal's pinnacle cap. I don't really know what the power cap is for season 16, but let me go find out real fast. I say fast, relatively speaking, because it's, internet. Uh, Power cap for season 16. And of course, we have to have all these stupid things like, oh man, 1550. The second power level cap is 1550, so then 1560, I think, is supposed to be our pinnacle cap. The ultimate. Right? Oh god, I gotta scroll past all this stupid waifu shit. I hate fucking advertisings on phones anymore. I'm on my phone, so it's like automatically bought up to 1350. This is what Bungie calls the power level floor. Um, and then we get to 1500, which is where I'm kind of hovering close to. And then you have Pinnacle Gear, which is 1550. Okay, so the whole point about getting to the power limit is so that you can do the higher end content with relative comfort. Myself, I don't do those things. I don't play activities that introduce the Skull of Match game very often, unless it's like the seasonal arena. I do play a lot of champion based activities, so some nightfalls and some dungeons and things like that. But when it comes to armor, we'll start with armor first. So if I have a legendary version of this 1503 cloak, I'm going to delete the legendary one because you're going to get more reputation from the gunsmith than if you deleted the rare one. Okay. Um, and I don't think I have. I have some stuff in here that I am going to pop, but I don't think I have any more rares over here. Oh, I do. Okay, so for instance, um, I like Impulse Amplifier and One for All, but I do want that. I don't want this. Okay, so for instance, deleting this rare grenade launcher gives me one rank progress with the gunsmith. And again, waiting for this to drop out. Okay, deleting this one gives me three. So in a gear fight, it's going to be delete the legendary, keep the rare or lower one of. If it's, I don't even think we get green or I don't think we get common or uncommon gear anymore at this. Well, if you're an older guardian, you don't. But in any case, the other thing is that when to infuse. Pretty much you don't really need to ever, unless you're pushing into that. Unless you're pushing into activities where power level is going to make things a lot easier for you, you shouldn't really be infusing at all. You should just be keeping the inventory slot at its highest possible power level because that's what the game's dropping loot for you at. Um, right now I'm at 1499, so the chances of me pulling 1501s and 1505s is going to be pretty good, regardless of what's actually what's registered up here. This is what this. I mean, it's not going to be looking at this. It's going to be looking at. So if I go ahead and just equip all this right here real quick and grab my highest possible loot out of this one, which is the 1505. And let's grab this one here, 1508. And what do we have? A 1504 right here. Okay, so there we go. My 1504, which means that I'll be getting 1506s, possibly 1502s if the activity is not pushed. But there's no point in me sacrificing a really awesome arm piece just to have that extra power level. That's not gonna. It doesn't make a difference. As long as you have that weapon or that armor in your inventory, it works. Again, over here, when it comes to weapons, things are a little bit more involved. Um, I get a text message. Give me a second, kids. So first thing I do, new season, is I take a look at all the season-based mods. Okay, now all of these are seasonal-based mods, but the ones that are going to be specifically keyed in towards the activities you're doing for the season are going to be all your champion mods. Anything that's a champion mod. In other words, they go for unstoppable, barrier, or overpowered. So overload. Sorry. So these three mods will be a target for me once I get them unlocked. Thermoshock plating. That's the new mod for weapons that are being used. So is the Psionic Forging, and so is the Psionic Forging 1, and there's the 2. I only picked up the hand cannon one because at the time I still needed to put something in here before I can unlock this row. I believe, maybe not, I don't know. But more importantly, because I am shit with hand cannon shots. I'm all body. I'm center of mass when I fire a hand cannon. I don't know why. Because mostly I'm running and gunning with the hand cannon. So because we have Unstoppables as a mod, and I do like to play with hand cannons in Crucible, having this is a good thing. So pick a mod that's going to work with you. I don't care about ammo. Ammo mods are garbage. They shouldn't have ammo mods. Ammo should always be there for you. It's a first-person shooter. So, sorry, I'm getting off that topic. Anyway, so first thing I do is I focus on all the weapons that work off the mods. So I'm going to be mostly dealing with sorting out primarily my pulse rifles, my hand cannons, my auto rifles, and my submachine guns and my bows. Now, when it comes to what I want to keep, that's all going to be about my own personal meta. For instance, this one here is my target. This is a good roll for me. It's got that moving target, it's got that rangefinder. If I take this off and add targeting adjuster, the magnetism on this is going to be a little bit more than I think would be good, especially with arrowhead break. Actually, no. Why does that do that? Greatly controls recoil, but it reduces the stability. You know what? Who cares? I got a handling mod in here too, so this is going to be super awesome. Why haven't I masterworked it yet? Well, because masterworking doesn't give you orbs of power anymore, but that's a different topic altogether. And I want to see if it's worth the handling versus what I can get out of the weapon. Now, and that's kind of the thing. So whether you play with that type of gun or not, if that weapon in that slot has the highest power rating, keep it in your inventory. Just keep it there. Fortunately, I do play with pulse rifles, and coincidentally, they are part of the champion mod lineup, so I'm going to put them there. This is why I have anti-barrier scout rifles and overload auto and SMG. Now, why did I choose this one here instead of the Unstoppable, even though I talked a lot about Unstoppables? Well, because you only have one weapon type in Unstoppables, and I'm shit with it. You do have pulse rifles, which I'm okay with in Unstoppables, but why would I want it? Unstoppables are not as hard to take down as overload champions are. And it says right there, delaying ability of regeneration and lowering combat damage output, versus this one, it just stuns them. This one actually has an effect on the actual combat. This one just makes them stagger for a little bit. I don't care about stagger. And of course, combatants don't work with PvE, and neither does this. But the point is that this actually does more. So that's why I have this here instead of this or this. In any case, not to mention also there are some weapons out there that just intrinsically have that ability. So if you wanted to put them in your power or energy slot, you could do that as well. And that's kind of basically the gist of it. The guns I focus on are going to be the ones that benefit from the champion mods. Also, the guns that I focus on are going to be the ones that I am the most proficient with versus the targets that I commonly face. And then, of course, when it comes to ammo, when it comes to armor, just keep the slot open. And when it comes to infusion, like I said, unless you need to get to the physical power floor, when you need to get physically to 1500 to unlock things like, I think at 1500 you get to have the pinnacle drops from the three activities that you do. You unlock powerful gear and pinnacle gear drops. So pushing up to that soft cap is really relevant and important. I'm cooking this one too, but that's not really a gear strat. That's just an engram strat. And I think that's kind of really all I wanted to share in this. Also, full disclosure, I did buy the Witch Queen expansion. I did buy the annual pass, and the reason being is because my friends were really, really excited about it, and I kind of want to play with them. Forget, shame me if you feel like it. I don't care. It's not like anybody really watches these, but the people who I am buying expansions to play with, so they're not really going to chide me about it. Maybe Stomper would. Maybe he would, because he's funny that way. He's a good guy. They're all good guys. I would never play with anybody who was a complete dick. I was forced to play. Well, I wasn't forced to play shit. I did play in a group that did have a couple of individuals that were less than, I would say, pleasant to be playing with for very extended periods of time. They were really good for one or two runs on a thing, like a Nightfall or a raid. But after that, things started getting a little bit trying. But I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, point being, the gear strat is super basic, super simple. It does not hinge upon what is so-called god rolls or anything else like that, because I've always been one that's like, a god roll video is nice as a founding groundwork. There are some perks on several weapons that are just objectively better to choose. Like subsistence is just the objectively the best perk on anything that dumps mass number of rounds at a target, and you can actually get final kills with. If you are not a person who's getting final kills, then subsistence might not actually be something that you do. Now, if it's a weapon that gives you final kills, regardless, like, it's very infrequent. Where is it? It's very infrequent that I aim a shotgun at something and not get credit for the final blow. Very infrequent. So subsistence on a shotgun, definitely good. Hand cannons, not so much. I've had my kills taken out from underneath me with hand cannons. Same goes for fusion rifles, but I prefer under pressure and high impact reserves on a fusion rifle, especially in PvP, because I am going to be always at half capacity when it comes to the ammo clip. Let's see. I used to run subsistence on this one. I have subsistence here. This reach-based path, it does. It's rare that I get my kill taken out from me. And when I say kill steal, I'm talking about, it's like you've dumped a full clip into the target, and while you're reloading, Tommy Two Thumbs back behind you pops around into the target's head. He gets credit, you don't. And I'm like, I don't understand how the game determines that. And it might have been that my full clip only is 40% of the enemy's damage, and he does the final 50. Maybe it's that. I can't find the documents that talk about it, but that's not part of the gear strat that I'm talking about here. I'm talking about, what's going to work more efficiently for you. And like I said, I've been doing this for the last couple of years versus the season influxes and stuff, and I found that it does work very efficiently. Objectively, it's a good starting block, okay? We're not going to talk about god rolls or anything like that, like I said, because there's plenty of videos out there. Do not get sucked in by their meta. Be aware of your own meta, be aware of your own playstyles, and focus on the weapons you are efficient with against the targets that you most commonly face. That's where you want your inventory. Having a shit ton in your vault doesn't really make anything, except for the fact that it might be difficult to find shit when you really need to. So, that's the thing. On that note, Bungie, if you do stumble across this for whatever insane reasons, the companion app lets us sort our inventory by power levels and elements, but this just does new rarity and quality in default. Maybe import, or I don't know what the term would be. Maybe make the vault sort the same way the app does, because the app is really fun to use that. But when it comes to, I can't stream my vault content on my phone. So, that's kind of all I really wanted to talk about. I think we're done here. That's kind of neat. We're done. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hope this helps you out, gives you some kind of a groundwork to work with, and go have some